What's up, everybody? My name's Chuck Reeves. You might know me as the Beast host. Previously known as a Grind Mode General. We might touch on that today as well. But I'm sitting here with the Grind Mode Commandant. You know that man. His name is Lingo.
What's good?
He's been the mastermind of this whole Grind Mode shit. Wise Guy Films. One of the driving forces between Southern New England hip-hop for the last 5, 6, 7, 10 years, probably longer. We're here to talk to you guys about some things today. I'm going to discuss some things with Lingo. We're just going to have kind of a conversation. We're going to direct some things out towards you guys. But we're hearing some rumblings out there that somebody might have an issue with Grind Mode as an organization when these people should just probably nut up and go after the individual persons that they have a problem with. Since that's not going to happen, we're going to go ahead and direct these things and handle these issues as an organization and see how things help. So, Lingo, in the past year, it was a little over a year ago, you celebrated your first 1 million views as a YouTube channel with the Grind Mode Cypher. And then literally in less than a year, you got the notification that we got 2 million. How can you explain the growth that's been happening and the quickness?
The growth is definitely coming from the expansion. We started obviously in the New England market, Providence mainly, some Massachusetts. Then we branched out to Connecticut last year, and then we went to LA, and we hit South Carolina, then we hit New York. Since then we've been back to New York twice, Chicago, and back to South Carolina, and now we have another Connecticut coming up. We're going to Long Island this weekend. So the expansion definitely, we keep bringing in new MCs and finding new MCs, because that's the point of it all. Find more talent, find like-minded individuals all across the country, dudes that are grinding, dudes that are putting in work and that have talent, and we're linking them together. So definitely the network that we're building of dope underground rappers.
If you weren't familiar with the Grammo Network, I know that you've got at least 100 affiliated MCs just regionally in New England, and like you said, you've been going out to these new cities. It was never meant to be just a New England thing, I take it. Grind Mode was always meant to branch out, be nationwide, and draw from the larger talent pool of MCs that exist.
Definitely.
Thinking that Rhode Island, thinking that Mass is the only place in the country with talented MCs, I think is very egotistical. I think it's very rude, and I think it's definitely something that goes against the Grind Mode brand. That's why I'm glad to see this growth. I'm really glad to see the New York MCs. These guys are very talented. We've got guys like Scrooge, who's affiliated with All Flows Reach Out, the man Afro, his crew at Midnight Grammar, and those guys.
Mean Mugger.
And each one of these situations, they book themselves. These guys have formed their own committees and formed their own events to bring the Grind Mode brand down and help us expand, because they see that the more work they put into the situation, the more they get out of the situation.
Yeah, that goes into the like-minded people, finding the like-minded MCs and promoters and supporters all across the country, because you find someone in a similar situation to yourself. We have a core group of talented MCs from the New England area, and we have connects to venues to put on shows, to bring people out, and we reach out and we find people in other cities that have the same talent, that have the same connections, and now we put together a network where we can bring them out here for a show. They can hit a show in Mass, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Jersey, then we can go out there, visit Chicago, hit 3 shows there, go down south, go across the country and hit a whole bunch of different shows with artists that we've put on ciphers, and shoot more ciphers while we're out there and keep expanding the network.
And at this point, Grind Mode's visiting more cities and hitting more regions than any of the other nationwide cipher organizations. The other big guy that we consider to be, I don't even know if I would call them a rival at this point, because I know they're in their downswing, but Team Backpack is reliant on one large event every year. Grind Mode, I know for a fact, just over the summer, what'd you do, 4 events?
Yeah.
4 different places? None of these were New England.
Yeah, this summer, Brooklyn, Chicago, Pennsylvania, just got back, South Carolina, another New York, another Connecticut, another New York. So just keep building, because how would we call ourselves Grind Mode if we just did 1 or 2 things a year. We're dropping 2 videos, 2 ciphers a week right now. We've been doing 2 ciphers a week for almost this entire year, and the numbers just keep going up. The amount of subscribers we get, the amount of followers we get, is just continuing to rise, and like it's just
And the quality of the content continues to rise.
Yeah.
Every time we visit one of these new cities, Lingo has an eye for talent like nobody I've ever seen. Homie's finding at least 2, 3, sometimes 4 shiny jewels out there from the underground guys that certainly people here regionally have never heard of. But some of these guys are getting a better look, definitely based on, Lingo coming out there and letting them showcase their skills on Grind Mode.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to go out there and you find good MCs everywhere, and then you find every once in a while you find one that is just like on a whole nother level, and it's like it brings you back to like your early days in hip hop when it's like you first heard one of your favorite MCs, or like you hear something that just blows your mind, and to be able to do that time and time again, go to these new cities and find new artists that do that still give me inspiration. Hearing new dope shit is crazy. To be able to do that week in and week out, it's nice.
But with all the expansion, even Grind Mode has maintained its base here in New England. We do have the Big Jesus and the T-Radzes and the other guys that built our foundation here in New England. And it's not just about showcasing the new, it's also about showcasing what we have here to those new markets as well. There are guys that have been involved with, besides yourself, what have you done? About 100 Grind Mode Cyphers?
Yeah.
You have guys that are literally in the double digits with the amounts of ciphers that they've done. Yeah. Anybody that's familiar with the Grind Mode Cypher formula and the recipe, Lingo provides a showcase and an opportunity for a very low impact way to get yourself out there. Literally, all you have to provide is a pre-recorded 16 and your own physical presence. That is very, very rare in this world. There's usually a lot of other work that goes on, and Lingo's taken on most of that. Guys recognize that, and that's why he's able to have guys that have done 15 to 18 ciphers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guys that constantly hit him up trying to do events. The New York guys have shown as much interest as I've seen since Rhode Island in the heyday.
Yeah, New York and Connecticut, the amount of like support and like that these guys, they're so hungry and they see the value in what we're doing, and they've seen the returns already. It's crazy the buzz that some of these cats have gotten just being with us in a year and being on like 4 or 5 ciphers within that year. Their stock has gone up. They're getting shows booked in multiple states, cities. They're going out. They're getting collabs with big names. They're getting a lot of looks, and it's that's rewarding to see that happen by being able to give somebody a hand. Because early in my career, I had a few key people that helped me, that taught me the ropes, that showed me how to put on shows, showed me how to record, and like they gave me a platform to be heard, and now like I get to return that favor. You gotta keep pushing forward for hip hop.
So with the returning MCs from New England, with the new guys that you seem to be bringing in every month, it seems like we have a new batch of guys from a new city that we're showcasing. What do you see from artists that are utilizing this platform the best? Do you think that someone should strive to be the best Cypher MC of all time, or do you see this as a stepping stone to other things or a piece of a greater picture?
It's definitely got to be a stepping stone. Like the point of hip hop, it's music. At the end of the day, it's making music. So this is a way to show your skill and flex on the punchlines, but it's showing your skill and opening people up to a glimpse of you, so that then they'll go and check out more of your music. So it's just a piece of the puzzle. This is like, if you're focused on being the best cypher rapper, if that's all you want to do, then that's fine. You can go and do that. But the way that we're building Grind Mode is so that people will, you'll be able to find fans, that people are going to see you on the cypher and then want to check out your music and then latch on to you and then follow your career. And the more ciphers, the more people we build in this network, the more fans and like the artists are going to keep gaining, and it's their job to make other music. You know, we can put you on the Cypher, but if you don't have a body of work behind that, then, you know, you're not really going to retain fans that way.
All the growth has been very artist-based and organic, and inclusionary. As inclusionary as it is, and as much as it seems like we are just pumping new MCs through here, there is a vetting process, correct? You're not you're not just accepting anybody who picks up the phone.
Oh no, I personally listen to between 50 and 100 submissions every day. Every single day. It's crazy. And when we're doing these series, we get, for Long Island, I probably listen to 300 or 400 different MCs just to pick the 60 that made the cut. And you know, we get an influx every time we put up a post that we're coming to a city. We get a huge influx, and yeah, we go through hundreds and hundreds of submissions to pick the top one.
And besides just a skill level, because Grind Mode isn't a corporate entity, we're not trying to sell you anything but our own merchandise available at BrawlersIncClothing.com.
Yeah.
Shameless plug, shameless plug, shameless plug. You can be much more inclusionary when it comes to styles and content.
Yeah.
Because we do know that certain larger cyphers or organizations have been known to censor their people.
Yeah, and that's just some shit.
That ain't hip-hop.
We don't censor over here. Like, we do not censor over here.
Of all the affiliates, now if you just had to guess, I asked you this earlier, and you I don't know if you had a number, but if you had to guess, north of 150?
We're over 200. I think we're even closer to 300
So
if we hadn't already passed that.
Close to 300 MCs have entered into a business relationship with you, obviously for at least the duration of one cypher cycle of promotion and release. Of those 300, personally, I can count on less than one hand the ones I know of, but maybe you could give us some more insight. Who's ever had a problem, or at least a public problem, with Grind Mode, or perhaps has anyone blamed Grind Mode for their own career being stagnant?
I mean, obviously, just recently, in the last year, there's been, you know, there was one little group that separated themselves, and publicly they made it seem one way, they made it seem on the up and up one way, and then behind closed doors other things were said, and everything, I mean, it's such a tight-knit community that everything gets back to you, everything gets out. So it's like, if there was a problem, then it should have just been addressed, you know, by picking up the phone right off the bat, but that didn't happen. And then, so, you know, the smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors. It's a dog and pony show out there. It certainly is. But yes, about a year ago, there was a leadership group that had developed within Grind Mode under your leadership, known as the Generals. A few of the Generals outgrew, or at least we thought they outgrew, the cypher situation. Obviously, some of them have. We haven't seen any of, a few of them haven't been on any ciphers since they left Grind Mode. But then you've got somebody who decided to stay within the cypher community, who's named Passionate MC, the self-described cypher god. He's made some very broad generalizations in regards to Grind Mode and how it's affecting his own career. You know what? We might as well just talk about them one by one. So, there were accusations made that Grind Mode somehow caused a decline in the live music scene in Providence.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I honestly don't understand the correlation, because also in that post it was talking about people hating on him, and the people that had dissed him were from New York. So if a New York MC disses you, I don't see the correlation to that being about Rhode Island hip-hop. A lot of the reason that there's been less shows in Rhode Island is because of the city shutting down venues left and right, because of violence at certain shows
that were unrelated to us or our entities.
And you get violence at hip hop shows across the country.
There's not a city in America that hasn't experienced what we're experiencing right now as far as unrelated violence at unrelated shows affecting a genre as a whole. We know they routinely have those situations down in New York. They routinely have those situations out in LA. There's not a city in America that doesn't ebb and flow when it comes to that type of thing.
And in Providence, they group hip hop clubs just playing music nights under the same umbrella as performance. So if there's a hip hop club that has a shooting, has a stabbing, then they start cracking down on all the venues that play hip hop music, whether it be live or a DJ.
None of these things had to do with Grind Mode events. As much as I was blamed personally for my involvement, I'm still booking shows. I'm still doing fine. I'm still doing events up in Boston. I'm still doing events in Worcester. I'm still doing events in New York, Connecticut. Where there's a scene, I'm still doing shows. It's unfortunate when someone like me or Lingo reads someone like Passionate's accusations, because if the boy had actually been around for the long term and not kind of been, I hate to call him a Johnny come lately because it hasn't been, it's been a couple of years now, but we both know as OGs that there are periods of renaissance followed by periods of downturn. It's the way the game is.
I've been doing shows in Rhode Island since 2000. Like I worked for Basement Flavor with Mr. Mortal. We put on some of the biggest shows that Rhode Island has seen in the original Lupos, like MOP to Jurassic 5 to Talib Kweli, like crazy shit back then. And then there was a dead period.
Nothing.
Like a huge dead period from like 2005, 2006 hit a real slump. Then it started to come back, and since then there's been like one or two, like,
and we lucked out in Providence.
We
definitely lucked out in Providence. We had promoters like Keynote, who was committed to bringing shows out regardless of whether or not he was sure about the attendance. He was committed to working with the Grind Mode system, and we helped build that. But the shows themselves dried up, like you said, the venues dried up. And anybody who's been in this game of hip-hop in any capacity knows that this does go in cycles. It does ebb and flow. So trying to pin the downturn of Providence's local music scene on what has seriously been keeping it in its renaissance as long as we have. That seems to be the problem here, with Passionate and his statements at least. The idea that since he left, which why we're still talking about this over a year later is beyond me, but obviously he did have some words back in May, I guess it was, when we did our first visit to Brooklyn. He didn't like the fact that we booked a show in the same city on the same day as something he was. I don't know. He had a problem with something. But this, that we've somehow suffered a slump, and it's like not only have we expanded into 5 more cities since you were a member of the organization, since you publicly removed yourself. And that was the first time anybody had, if memory serves me correctly. Grind Mode is not the type of organization where you have to make a public declaration whether or not you're rolling with us. There's no contracts, no dotted lines, no deals being handed out here. We are merely a platform with no other ulterior motive besides to showcase the best hip-hop music from the places we go. We're not trying to sell you a Chaotica eyeball. We're not trying to give you clickbait in the form of Drake lyrics and the top 5 Jeezy verses of all time. We're not going to do that to you.
We're not even going to bring you shit that isn't related to us. Like, if you notice, we're not a blog site. We're not trying to post about the newest shit that's on the radio. What I'm concerned with is pushing Grind Mode artists. People that are fucking with Grind Mode, people that are working with us, then we're going to showcase them. So when you go to the Grind Mode page, you're going to see the newest Cypher. You're going to see music and videos from artists that you have seen on Cyphers. You're going to see flyers for events that are featuring artists from our Cyphers. Like, that's what we want to bring to you. We're not going to waste time bringing you the stuff you can go and look at on 100 other different sites, bringing you music that you can hear on the radio. No, like, we're going to give you Grind Mode. That's what we're going to give you.
And from an artist perspective, if you're fucking with Grind Mode, you don't have to wait by the phone for us to call you about our twice a year 4-hour Cypher filmings in the undisclosed private YouTube location with no fans and no crowd. We routinely advertise our new Cyphers coming up. We're looking for new talent all the time. So it's a matter of, you're not waiting by the phone. You should be picking that phone up and calling Lingo, working these things out. And we routinely do 6 to 8 Cyphers an event. So how do you feel when somebody like Passionate says, my solitary absence from that organization is calling its decline? What is your direct response to that?
That's complete bullshit. And I mean, numbers don't lie. Like, you left, and since then our growth has been bigger than ever. Exponential,
actually.
Yeah.
From the last year that Passionate MC was affiliated with the Grind Mode, and specifically with the Grind Mode Generals, that's more than double, actually, what we had done while he was here. Besides what he's been saying on Facebook about, you know, the ciphers not meaning anything, and him being responsible for certain people's careers around this place, the truth remains, we haven't seen a lot from Passionate MC since he left Grind Mode. If I'm not mistaken, he only had really the one cipher, the X-verse Passionate cipher, that a lot of people said he lost. And besides that, I know he dissed Swizz. He's on some sort of dissin' folk kick. And apparently he decided to diss Grind Mode.
Yeah, well, I heard the track. He's got this track coming out called Civil War.
Exclusive!
And I got a sneak preview of it. So he got dissed by two people that are affiliated with Grind Mode from New York. Dissed him. Only one of them did it on a cipher. And this was after they went back and forth online. They talked shit to each other for months. Since Brooklyn. They've been going back and forth. They've had interactions. So then the Jay Para dissed him in a cipher. And that's when Passionate said, he put up a post saying that, how did I let that happen? So that goes back to the censorship bullshit. Like you talk shit to Para talks shit to you, and then he dissed you. I'm not gonna censor that. That's is what it is. Like, so instead of Passionate making a diss back to Para, or mentioning Para, or Ty Banks, who both dissed him, he made a track talking about how he helped build Grind Mode. He did help us. There's no disputing that. He was on a bunch of ciphers, and he has a good name.
What Passionate brought to Grind Mode and his additions to the Grind Mode, brand and family, cannot be underplayed at all.
No.
He was the one that was able to bring you all them tiny chat MCs that did nothing but sit on their computers all day and generate views, and he helped you get growth that way, while you were actually able to show him how to get on stage and in these streets and actually put his work out there live for people. So let's not underplay what he did. He obviously helped with the rap nerds. Why would Jay Para and Ty Banks want to diss somebody like Passionate? I mean, he's just running around calling himself the best ever when he does not have the body of work to back it up. And I mean, at this point, he's literally trying to blame Grind Mode for his own career stagnation, when people don't want another Cypherverse out of him. They made it very clear. They want a project. And here's Cypher God. Here's more Cypher stuff, except now he's not even giving the people that. He's resulted to trying to diss people. First of all, poor old Swizz, which if anybody knows, Swizz didn't do nothing to Passionate. That was a complete whatever. Everybody knows how Passionate is about Hobson. See, he's almost as bad about Hobson as he is about cannabis. Why do you think he would bother dissing Grind Mode, I mean, almost a year and a half later?
Well, see, in the track, the stuff that he says, he really tries to assert that since he left, Grind Mode has fallen apart and nobody cares about it. And I mean, we already addressed the growth and everything we're doing now, so that's just, that's ridiculous. And then he says, he doesn't address Para or Banks by name, but he says to me, he says that I need to get them in check or he's going to come at my neck. And again, so I'm supposed to censor MCs who have a problem with you. That's not going to happen. And I mean, as far as people coming at my neck, like, we know what happens to MCs who come at my neck. Like, you get facts. And then later in the track, it's weird. It's like, it's a diss, but at the same time, it's like a reminiscing. Like, he talks about all the times. He goes on to shout out like 40 of the MCs that were on like the first 15 ciphers. And he's like talking about a whole bunch of times that we were at like Sunday Night Mics, and just, I don't know, it's a real like name dropping, reaching out, trying to sway them in some sort of way, which is, you know, I don't know what the point of bringing up all these people are, and like talking about how it was better back then. And it's like, it's growth. Like, a lot of the people that in some of the first ciphers don't even rap anymore. Like, you know, if they move on with their life, how do you expect to just stay stagnant? Like, we can't just keep doing the same thing we were doing 6 years ago. We can't make the same cipher over and over again and expect different results, or you got to keep moving. And we're building. Like, we started as one cipher that branched out from a mixtape series. Now we're in cities everywhere. Now we're building bigger shows, bigger features, like all building to another level where we can take this.
I mean, at this point, anybody who's been affiliated with Grind Mode is one phone call away from a Diabolic feature or a Joel Ortiz feature. Obviously, you're coming through budgeted, but these are all things and business relationships that have been built over years of hard work from this guy and the hundreds of MCs that have passed through his booth and laid down verses. You cannot put Grind Mode's success or failure on any one man except for this one right here. And to do so is presumptuous and rude, especially in a situation when your career has hit a complete slump, just due to the fact that you pigeonholed yourself into one organization that does one type of cipher, that does one major event a year, and you are in a position locally to where you could ever draw fans, so you can't get live shows. It's a shame that Providence is now experiencing a little bit of a ebb in the live hip-hop scene. Like we said before, it happens with cities, it happens with people's careers. Seems like you're in one just like the city of Providence. I'm having no problem booking shows. I know this man here is having no problem booking shows. I know plenty of MCs that are putting on their own shows. We have affiliates that have gone on to create their own ciphers. No one is trying to take ownership of anyone here or take ownership of anyone else's success or failure. We are merely a showcase for the hungry MC and those looking to be seen by people out there. Do you even think that Passionate really has a problem, or do you think this is in response to the fact that he received a negative response to that Swizzle diss track that he put out, where people essentially accused him of dissing another man's enemy to receive attention from the first man, aka Hobson, and that maybe he should diss somebody that he actually has ties to?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I don't know what goes on in his head.
Because I can't see of a reason that anybody, no one in the Grind Mode organization is impeding Passionate in any way.
It just doesn't make sense. If one person disses you, you would go back at them, no? I mean, it doesn't make sense to take a broad shot at the same time try to recruit and persuade, maybe get people on your side and not address the people that dissed you. I'm not out here dissing Passionate. I'm not making diss records to you. I'm not really concerned with what you're doing. So if we had a problem, you know, a year and a half ago, you could have just got on the phone and called me. So I mean, now I don't know. It just looks like a reach now. I don't see the point of it. I don't see the need of it, because Grind Mode isn't coming at him. One or two people had a problem with him. Passionate said that they suck. You guys can't rap, blah, blah, blah. So they rapped at him.
Coming at Grind Mode now makes little to no sense, and it looks as weak and as grasping as straws for some sort of notice as you can get. Perhaps the fact that Passionate was not invited to the most recent Team Backpack Cypher filming in California has something to do with this. Maybe he's trying, just like he was trying to get Hobson's attention with the Swizz track, maybe he hopes he can get some Team Backpack attention with his current track. Since he has resorted to editing himself very, like, not professionally out of grind mode videos and posting just his segments so he can get some sort of promotion since he's got no other work coming out. If people got problems with you, Lingo, where can they get a hold of grind mode? Why don't you let people know?
Just send me a message, Lingo. Hit me up on Facebook, Grind Mode Cypher page, my personal page, whatever you want to do. Just send me a message.
GrindModeCypher.com.
Yep.
Click contact us. Somebody will get it. Problems, complaints, gripes, bitches, moans, all that shit.
And to all the hungry MCs out there, hit us up. We're gonna be coming to a city near you real soon. So.
And if you're getting sick of being told you don't fit into somebody's corporate box, or you don't fit into somebody's 3 cypher shooting day, go ahead and hit us up. Come fuck with Grind Mode.